What is going on, everybody? Welcome to A House of Many Doors. I'm your host, the Birdman, known as Falcon, and I'm going to start off by saying I would dare call this game Sunless Sea in a different world or universe altogether. Now, before you start getting the wrong idea and thinking, well, does that mean it's like a copy, a knockoff, a ripoff? Not necessarily. As a matter of fact, the Sunless Sea team had a part in either funding or developing this game, if I read the email correctly. So it's going to be definitely inspired by Sunless Sea, but it does things a lot different in it as well. Particularly when it comes to the combat. The combat, I actually do enjoy the combat in this game more than I do in Sunless Sea. It's more of a turn-based, kind of something similar to FTL, Faster Than Light. You know what, I could explain more about the game, but let's just get into the game and actually show you what I'm talking about here. So let's go into begin. This is going to be the beta version of the game, so I'm doing one video as a one-shot. If you guys enjoy it though, let me know in the comments, let me know by leaving a like, and maybe we cover more of this going forward as it develops here. I think it's actually coming out pretty soon, like maybe in February if I'm right, so it's not too far off the actual release date. So if you guys want to see some more, I do have access for more. Just keep in mind it's a very story-oriented game, very similar to Sunless Sea in that regard. A gruesome headache. Broken glass crunches behind your eye. Two concerned faces swim into view. Can you remember your name? Asked the balder of the two. So my name is indeed Falcon. Are you happy with that choice? Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. My mama called me Falcon, so I'm Falcon. Well, technically, she didn't really call me Falcon. It's more of a persona I created, but still. Don't even worry about that. Good. The bald-headed man sits back. Rutherford, his name comes to you in a flash. You raise your finger to your temple and brush over a rough bandage. Somewhere beneath you can feel a tender hole in your skull, still oozing. Bandits, says the other man. Monobrow. Bradley is his name. Ambushed us, boarded us, and took a memory right out of your head. So in this game, memories are literally removed physically from you. We'll learn more about it going forward, but again, it's very weird, like Sunless Sea, where things are sometimes like, instead of figuratively, they're literally. So anyway, we have a couple of questions here. Where are we? Why are we out here? What happened to my head? Where are we? You're in the house, says Bradley. The captain is disoriented, not an idiot. Rutherford turns to you. We're out in the darkness, just a few rooms west of the city of the Keys. We didn't get far. And the overall world is called the house, and every section is called a room as well. It's very weird. What is the house? Rutherford and Bradley exchange brief worried glances. Must have dislodged something when they yanked your memory out, mutters Rutherford. The house is a parasite dimension, says Bradley. Endless dark rooms and locked doors. It steals things and people from other worlds. Ah yes, it's all coming back to you now. Why are we out here? Exploration, says Bradley. He pauses. You had some damn fool notion about escaping the house. Impossible, of course, but a question that had gnawed at your soul for years nevertheless. One day you bought a kinetipede of your own. A clanking train on mechanical legs, hired a ragtag crew, and launched yourself into darkness. And this is our little kinetipede indeed. What happened to my head? Didn't you know? Rutherford laughs. That's how they get the memories out. He mimes a drill. Literally. Let's chase down those memory thieves. They stole a very specific memory from you. You're curious as to what. So we'll choose that one. Bradley smashes his fist into his palm. We'll chase them down and hang them. Steady on, says Rutherford. You're in no condition to go chasing down miscreants, Falcon. I want to make sure your brain wasn't too badly damaged. Let me ask you some questions about your past. You can take this opportunity to establish your backstory. So this is where you actually create your character completely, right? So I could skip this or I could do it now, but I'll go ahead and do it now so you guys get an idea how the character creation actually works. So we'll hit yes. And first and foremost, you get to choose your own little portrait for your character here. I'm gonna go with this guy who apparently looks a lot like the governor from The Walking Dead. So I'm gonna pick this guy here. He's got look, he's even has an eye patch already for us, so that's probably where they extracted my memory from. Choose that one right here. A wise decision. Rutherford sits opposite, a notepad in front of him. Tell me about your childhood. So over here you get to choose different childhood things, and they all give you like different benefits. So for instance, the orphan will give you guts plus 10. Apprentice will give you graph by 10, and all of these obviously have different type of things that will impact the performance of your character down the line. It would take a long time for me to read everything over here, and I'm going to show you more of the game, so if you guys want, go ahead and pause the game, or pause the video, I should say, and read the descriptions if you want to. It would take me too long to do this myself. I want to show you more of the game. But yeah, go ahead and pause and read if you need to. As for what I'm going to be choosing, I'm going to go with, first and foremost, an orphan, which will give us a guts plus 10. And your professional life, asked Rutherford. You grew up, of course, as children sometimes do. Your childhood slipped away, and you earned your keep as a... We have detective, soldier, scholar, oh boy. It's a lot of things to choose from here. Clergy, you have a crook. Industrialist, we have miner, adventurer, lawyer. And again, you guys can pause and read if you want to. The first one we got was plus 10 to guts, right? This will give us vigilance as a detective. As a matter of fact, vigilance is pretty good because it gives you an idea as to what's in the map around you, so you could find locations and different stuff that's hidden. So I'm going to go with vigilance for a detective as well. So I used to be an orphan. I grew up to be a detective and an escape. Maybe you left a way of life in disgrace. Maybe you retired in an honor. Maybe you simply got bored. It doesn't matter. The fact that you left is what's important. Your work cannot have been holy your whole life, or wholly been your life, says Rutherford. What was the other claim of your time? So we have pugilism, we have debauchery, we have occultism, gambling, tinkering, sketching, tourism, socializing, and smoozing. Spirit plus 5. And all these, as you can see, have an impact on the story as well. So I was an orphan, detective, and let's go with... a little bit of debauchery, huh? Drugs, alcohol, and other addictions. You lost entire days and awoken without memories or regrets. It sounds like a very detective story, doesn't it? Let's go with that one. Good news, says Rutherford. Your brain is mostly intact. Lodgings unlocked. Your lodgings can be found in the City of Keys, which is essentially like the main hub of the world. Of the house, anyway. Fragments of Epiphany. And a memory was stolen from you, which is what we do know. Whatever memory they took from you must have been important, says Bradley. Let's get it back. It's probably just memory of happier days, says Rutherford, bored. Memory thieves can sell that sort of thing for a fortune on the black market. Not worth risking our lives over. You still look a little woozy, Captain. Do you want us to help get back up to speed with the day-to-day running? So this will be our tutorial, which we will enable because I want you guys to kind of get how the game works in case you're unfamiliar with Sunless Sea. So, yes. Bradley nods. The last we saw, the memory thieves, they were heading directly north of here, probably up to Clayton's Mill to sell your memory to the black market. So, in this game, they literally steal memories from you and they sell those memories to other people who are devoid of memories. So they actually have something to look past as well. It's really, really interesting, really weird. And that's what I really enjoy about this game. It's very weird and interesting, very much like Sunless Sea was and I suppose is. So here is going to be our main crew. These will be actual character portraits, and they actually have a story you could actually progress. You could even like romanticize them and stuff like that. And down here you will have the... I guess these will be like other party members, but they don't have any names or portraits. They're going to be like randoms, I guess. You could basically fill up jobs as swabbies, engineers, gunners, and guards. The guards will help you actually take care of other ships by actually jumping from your ship to their ship and actually doing some... I guess it's like FTL, where you literally send your people from your ship to the other one to take over it. And if you bring down a ship that way, you get more rewards from that combat as well. So as I mentioned, that's the reason why I kind of compared it to FTL. So that's what the guards will do. They will also defend you if you get bored of it yourself. Gunners will be to control the guns. Engineers will fix some stuff on the fly. Not really sure what the swabbies do. But anyway, all these people and these guys will be involved in combat, and you obviously don't want to lose the portrait people because they're like more story related. Over here we have a couple of stories, or at least a couple of interactions with Rutherford, Bradley Baggs, and Sandy Brackett. Before we do those, let me show you the map here. And we're down here at the moment. If we go up maybe 2 rooms, we'll get down to the Memory Thieves, which will be our very first conflict of the game. We'll do that here pretty soon, but let's click here quickly. Press W to move forward. Yeah, so that's how to move around. The Upper Deck crew are important characters with faces, names, and unique stories. Talk to them and spend apprehensions to increase your stats. The Lower Deck crew will help you in combat and die horribly on your behalf. Recruit more Upper and Lower Deck crew at any time at the city. So that's kind of like the run that I kind of gave you guys. You can also rename these people if you want to, it seems. Very cool. Alright, so let's actually interact with Rutherford, who happens to be unwounded. Guts plus 1. He is what? Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking... What was that? Don't jump scare me, dude. Rutherford. A sour, grey-faced man who drinks 2 bottles of whiskey a day and smokes like a chimney. My type of guy. You can flirt with Rutherford. As I mentioned, everybody that has a little bit of a portrait can be romanticized, and you know, you could do male, 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 female, female, female. Hey man, have it your way. Flirt with Rutherford. Whiskey has been going missing from your cargo. This one is unavailable to us. Apparently, this will increase your guts by 1 and cost you 10 apprehensions, which we don't have. So if we collect more apprehensions, we would level our guts up by interacting, by sharing a smoke with Rutherford over here. Let's ask about the whiskey. As you walk into his surgery, Rutherford hastily shoves a half-empty bottle under the table. "What's the matter?" he asks, struggling to focus his gaze. "You stubbed your toe or something?" Confront him over the missing whiskey, let it slide, express concern. Let's ask about this missing whiskey, huh? I'm sorry. I'll never do it again." He is so struck by remorse that he apparently needs to drink or recover. He fumbles and the bottle smashes on the floor. "Ah, piss," says Rutherford, swaying gently. With excruciating difficulty, he lights himself a cigarette. "We have a casualty. Need an urgent whiskey transplant. If we to save the patient, I better go to the cargo, see what I can find." Says he'd literally go over there and raid me again. Let him go or stop him. Let's let this guy go. He tips forward, prodding you gently in the stomach. "How do you plan to stop me? Fire me? Go on. Who would you going to replace me with? Someone from the Surgeons Association, I bet. Someone with a license and a recommendation. That's a joke, that is." What's wrong with the Surgeons Association? Rutherford gathers himself, puts the bottle to one side, and takes a deep draw on his cigarette. "Where do I start?" he mutters. "I had a doctor before my name once. Not exactly a respected physician, but at least I had a license. Unfortunately, I had an attack of conscience, you see." Another drag of the cigarette. "The Surgeons Association is stealing hearts." In a metaphorical romantic sense, what do you mean? This sounds like alcohol talking. Let's go with the first one. "No, in a literal wake up after surgery with much roomier chest sense," says Rutherford. "If the patients are poor enough and powerless enough, the association steals their heart, leaving the patient with a shorter life expectancy and a hollow ribcage, but still alive somehow. Through occult interventions, I suspect." Why would they do that? Rutherford laughs darkly. "It's a nice little money earner. Sell them to the factory." He nods in the vague direction of your Kinetic heartlight. "How do you think they make these things? Pig hearts? No, it needs to be human. It needs to be alive." How do you know this? "I treated a patient without a heart. A little old lady, sweetest woman you ever met. So I did some digging on her behalf and dug a little too deep. Found that this was a common money-making scheme amongst the top brass at the association. I was just too low-rung to know about it." He knocks back another sip of whiskey, his face is blanched and he's slurring his words. "What can we do about this?" "Well, I went to the city's watch, but they just locked me up. Then Holtzwood, the chairman of the association, came into my cell, offered me a lot of money to keep quiet. So of course I took it, because what am I, an idiot?" He knocks back a second swig, he stumbles, drops his cigarette, and then tries to put it out with his boot, but misses and kicks you in the shins. Leave him to his drinking. So now we have a little bit of a side quest involved too. Concerns updated the Heartless, and we have a +1 relationship with Rutherford. So, I do have a couple more of these to do right now. We have the one with Bradley Baggs, and we also have the one with Sandy Brackett. However, I want to show you some of the combat as well, so I will check these out with another video if you guys want me to continue covering this down the line. But for now, I want to show you some of the gameplay itself. So, your stats have a huge impact. In case you were wondering what guts, grits, and all the character building we did has to do, pause over here and read all this, and it'll tell you what all the different skills do that we leveled up. Alrighty, so for now, let's actually move forward. As you will see, apparently the hearts that we use for our Kinetipede is fueled by that Heartless Association, which is actually kind of weird. We could turn this off. This actually works as our light in Sunless Sea. If you do that, though, your sanity will indeed drop, but you will lose also less fuel when you travel. So it's up to you if you want to, like, you know, sacrifice sanity for fuel. Again, very similar to Sunless Sea when it comes to that point. Now, we need to get up to the memory thieves, which is 1 upwards. We have a couple more of these tutorial things. Your navigator will sometimes update the map with nearby locations. This is, of course, if you have a higher vigilance, you will automatically update your map with locations you can check out. Your Heartlight slows the rate at which your sanity drops. You can turn it off, and that's what we talked about. If I turn this off, our sanity will drop a lot faster, but we'll also conserve more fuel, so it's up to you how you kind of want to play this out. At the moment, we haven't seen any enemies, which is kind of weird. Normally, I run into like a big-ass centipede in that map right there, and you can just avoid them. But over here, this is the guys that stole our memories. So let's go over here and pay them a visit. The memory thieves. You recognize their kinetopede instantly. It's much sleeker than your own cobbed-together mess. They're not trying to run. They're barreling straight towards you. Legs a skitter. So now we could attack them, or we could do a test of spirit. So we have a high enough spirit, I guess we could basically try to get our memory back without combat. But I want to show off some of the combat, so let's go over here to attack. And here we go. This is where I mentioned it kind of reminds me a lot of FTL. So this right here is their kinetopede, and this is ours. We could shoot over here with this bad boy. If you want to shoot, you want to make sure you have a gunner in the gunnery room, obviously. They have one themselves. They have a guard over here as well. He will basically try to either get on top of our ship or guard when we jump our people over here. Ideally, you might want to do that early on when it's a lot easier, but I've noticed, I'm not sure if it's a bug because it's still in beta, sometimes when I send my guards to invade and actually fight these dudes one-on-one, they do relatively well, but sometimes one of them gets stuck and I can't haul them back into my ship and I end up losing them. So I'm not sure if it's a bug because it's still in beta, so I would demonstrate what I mean, but I don't want to risk losing somebody in case if I cover this more going forward. But here you go. Now, if you want to go ahead and actually invade the other ship with your guards, you have to get close. I think you have to get in between the 50 meters distance, and then you can actually jump over there. Otherwise, if you're too far, you won't be able to do it, and they won't be able to board you as well. So let's start off over here by moving forward. As you will notice, you have 4 action points every single turn, which are all queued up, and then at the end of your turn, you do all of them. So what I can do right now is just move my people around if I want to. If I had any damage to my engine room and stuff like that, I could send my engineer to clear that up. I also have a surgeon. If my people take damage, I could have the surgeon go over there and heal the people up as well, and move my guards and stuff like that. Let's actually get closer as well. I might demonstrate one of the boarding and maybe come back in time before I destroy that ship. We'll see. They're getting closer. That's what I talked about, boarding ships and stuff like that. I'm going to basically hold off for now, and let's just go ahead and shoot at their gunnery as well. And yeah, somebody has to be there. And we have one more turn left over. I could essentially get closer so I could board next time around, I suppose. So let's do that. Next turn around, I will be able to invade. And here's the end of our turn. We took a shot. They'll pretty much do the same. Ideally, you don't want this happening. A bunch of people cluster together because they'll all take damage, obviously. And now they also sent their engineer to start fixing the gunnery ship itself. So, it's back to us. Let's go ahead and shoot here again. And this is their captain, right? And this is their guard. I'm going to try to send my nameless guard, if I can, to show you guys how the boarding works, but I hope I don't lose them. I hope I don't lose them. So let's board. Now, he's going to board somewhere just completely random to my understanding. So we showed up here. We still have 2 more action points left over. I'm going to have him come over here. And then at the end of the turn, he will attack the captain. I figure going after the captain is a good idea. I'm not sure. So we took a shot over here. Great. Now they're moving their guard over to us, and they whiffed on their shot. Great. And they're down to 27 to 60 hull power. And they brought their guard all the way down here. I won't be able to kill that guy now with only 1 guard. I mean, we'll bring their ship down before that actually happens. Now let's see if I can recall this guy. No. No. See, this is what happened to me beforehand too, which I talked about. I try to return, but then the hook just gets stuck over here and I can't bring him back. And to my understanding, you're not supposed to like manually guide it to, from what I understand. Normally how it works is you hit return and it'll just, you know, just jump back. Unless it failed, so you have to give it a try every single turn. I mean, I guess that could be the case. But right now, I get 1 shot. Didn't really work. I'll keep him there. I'll give it a try next turn around and see if I get him back. But otherwise, there's a possibility we might lose him, because we're going to bring the ship down here pretty soon. I'm not going to send anybody else out there. Oh, as I mentioned, you don't want to have people too much clustered up together because they will take damage from the shots if they're all clustered together. So you might want to spread them out here a little bit. Alright, so that's happening here. It's back to them. Next time I shoot them, it's over for them. They got a shot in there on a lot of people, and the captain also moved aside. It is back to me. Let's give this a try one more time. So Malcolm Horn, he ain't coming back. So we've lost this guy completely. Well, either way, if you guys want to see some more, I'll probably redo this fight off camera and come back at the same spot we left off, and I won't send them in. And maybe it's just a bug, I'm not sure. I know it works really well with this guy, but for some reason it never works with the unnamed dudes. I don't know why. I figure it's a bug, I don't know. Let's go. Well, since I'm gonna go ahead and maybe restart if I show you more, let me just make sure it's maybe not a bug. Let's see, so Malcolm, let's have him board. Can you return on the same trip, do I wonder? You see? So that's how it's supposed to work. You click on return and he'll just randomly come back. So I'm not sure why it doesn't work with the nameless dude here. Anyway, let's finish off this fight. We got a shot off, right? Yeah. And let's end our turn, and that should be it right here for it. Unless we miss, which could be a possibility, but no, we got him. And there we lost our dude as well. Victorious. Stop! The radio crackles into life. We'll give your memory back, just let us go, please. So, do we show mercy or do we show revenge? Let's get some mercy here. You climb down to the floor, your boots sending up a great cloud of dust. Don't leave the circle of safety provided by your heartlight. The dark would eat you alive. The memory thief captain is a typical bandit, an odd collection of scavenged clothes, goggles, and bandana. He hands you the battered box that holds your stolen memory, and as he does so, his sleeves lift. Strange, he has a tattoo of a skull with a line slashed through the eye socket. An odd tattoo. Looking him up and down, you notice other discrepancies. His fingernails too clean, his hair too neat. No scars, and all of his teeth. He turns and hurries back to his kinetipede before you get to ask more questions. See, my idea was give him some mercy and try to get some information off of him, but unfortunately this guy just ran off. So we got a box of my memory back, and we also have 10 apprehensions, so you could use that to level yourself up as we talked about earlier, and onward you can check the box to your leisure. Alright, cool. So, we are literally at a time here. If I'm correct, this is the City of Keys. If you guys want to see some more, do let me know. I would basically do that fight all over again and not sacrifice my dude just to show off that little feature. But before we do wrap it up, let me get over to the City of Keys, which is essentially our hub world. I want to show you guys how that plays out. It's a bit of a trip, unfortunately, so I might just skip forward here. Or I might just keep this in. Yeah, just keep it in. I want to show you guys some of the traveling as well, and some of the random fights you will soon see. I'm really surprised I haven't seen the giant mechanoid dude. I haven't necessarily fought him myself. I'm not sure who actually controls them, but there's like these giant mechs that just wander around, which usually just freak me out. So I avoid them completely, which is the reason why I haven't fought one just yet. Alrighty, and we're obviously using fuel by traveling, but that is to be expected. Especially, oh, here's another centipede dude. That one isn't really too bad. It's not the big guy I was talking about. So we got like maybe 2 more rooms to the right and then 1 down to hit the City of Keys. It's a giant rift here too. What is this? Well, I have still leftovers from my combat. Oh, and very much like Sunless Sea, if you smash into things full head of steam, you will obviously take some damage to your hull. So you might want to make sure you're not too drunk when you're moving your little kinetipede around as well. Alrighty. And we have to go down now. Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised I didn't see that giant mech I was talking about. I always run into him, but not this time. And here's the City of Keys. Alrighty, and this is where you would do a lot of your stuff that you would do in Sunless Sea, like upgrading your kinetipede, go to your lodgings, talk to people, get some recruits. I won't be able to show it here because we're out of time, but there's actually a way to kind of like increase your fear amongst other enemies, where you can literally get a couple of slaves, skin them, and then put them in the front of your little kinetipede as a design, like literally a skinned human being, and it's going to actually make you more feared among your own compatriots, so they might feel a bit more awkward around you, but at the same time it helps you out when it comes to like avoiding combat down the line where people are like, yeah, this guy's crazy, fuck, getting involved with him. So yeah, there's a lot of things you could do here. If you want to see some more, do let me know. I will cover some more of this, but again, very similar to Sunless Sea. Very cool game. Comes out in February if I'm right, so, you know, keep your eyes out. I will have more information in the description below. I will catch you next time.